Welcome back to my second official ride on the GS 1250, my long-termer from BMW Motorrad UK. It's been about 2 weeks since I filmed my last video, and I have ridden this a couple of times, but not much, to be honest, because I've been away at Le Mans for the past week or so, but I'm back on it now and loving it, at least for the first 5 minutes or so since I left home. You might be able to see down there on the dash that it's 26 degrees. It was actually 28 when I left home, which, unless you're going faster than about 30 miles an hour, it's actually quite uncomfortable, at least in the proper gear that I'm wearing. I hope you've all been really well. I really quite enjoyed the way my first video came out on the bike, if I must say so myself. I tend to just be me a bit more, and I know that this is predominantly a car channel and I'm not going to get the traction with bikes like I would with a typical car video, but with the future of the car industry looking not that exciting, I think my timing of getting a bike license and doing bike content is, at least from my own selfish personal point of view, good timing, because yeah, I'm not excited about the future of the car industry, but I do have lots of exciting car projects planned. Just gonna have to bear with me, and then peel off down here. And in fact, we're going to go and fill up with fuel for the first time since I've had this bike in 3 weeks. Done about 145 miles, or 140 miles actually. So yeah, let's see if I can do this without messing up too badly. Stand down. Guess the first thing to do is open my visor so I don't get too hot. Take my gloves off, they're already sweaty. I need to get more summery gear. Big shout out to RST. Fantastic gear, but yeah, my gloves are maybe a little bit on the wintry side. Pop that open. I think as long as the bike's unlocked, then you just pop that open. Oh, what sort of fuel? E10. It will take E10, so I'll give it E10. Extra careful. I think it's about a 22 litre tank. And there's still some in there, so yeah, it's probably about right. Less than 20 quid for all that fun I've had on this bike. That's unreal. Yeah, she's full. Now, let's try not to dribble it everywhere. And yes, no dribbles. Let's close that, and I'll go in and pay. Okay, well, that was fairly straightforward. Just got to get my gloves back on now. Need to take this off because my hands are very, very clammy. Clammy hands. Lovely. Once they're on, my clammy hands are comfortable. Second clammy hand going in. It's funny, as soon as you have moisture on your hand, they just feel extra tight. They're not. They're perfect. Right. Both clammy hands in. Leg over. stand up, ignition on, fire. And let's turn that air up. Oh yes, much better. Right, visor fully down now. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the first video, but an idea that I have with this bike, amongst some more interesting ideas, getting it out and about in some adventurous areas. One of the less adventurous areas, I was thinking about taking it into London and doing a bit of a car spotting day. I think the freedom of being on a bike around town would be pretty cool. And if you see something very interesting, a car that's on the move, well, you'll be able to follow it for a bit. Not stalk it, not follow it home, but, you know, follow it and get a proper look at it instead of just a flyby that you might have otherwise only got. Have I mentioned where I'm going? I can't remember, but I'm going to Swift Performance to see Russ and potentially Tim and my M2. I haven't been down there for about 10 days, and I thought it would be good to pop my head in, see what's going on, see what the latest is. They've been exceptionally busy down there, which is a good thing. And to be honest, I've not really had time to miss or drive my M2. On the road, in the UK at least, and where I live, you can arguably have more fun on this than you could in the M2. Especially at my low experience levels. Being a little bit cautious today because, well, I noticed near where I live, the centre line of the road, I think they call it position number 2 when you learn how to ride, well, it had a lot of gravel and dirt, almost like a gravel truck or something was dropping its load along the road. Thankfully this road looks fine. Does this black car see me? Yep. But yeah, just keeping an eye out for that, because obviously if suddenly the centre line is covered in gravel and you're mid-corner, well, it's not an ideal situation, as you can imagine. Neither is a Range Rover Sport at 42 miles an hour. Oh yes, well, we're going along in our Range Rover Sport. It's been in the Range Rover garage all week long getting fixed, and well, we think it'll probably be back in again tomorrow, so we're going to take it out and make the most of it. We love our JLR products. Oh yes, they've been with us for many generations, and they spend most of their time with the dealership, but we will continue to buy and support JLR because they're British. Here we are, arriving into Winslow. It's a lovely little town, Winslow. Lou and I used to live about 5 minutes from here. Now we live about 15 minutes from here. Yeah, why don't you stick your nose all the way out, then have a look. There's another little person in a really big car. Just like in a car, there is absolutely no need to stop at roundabouts. Watch out for this van that's parked in a very I'll give up. Anyway, roundabouts. Yeah, just like with a car. If you can roll up to them and roll through them, then do it. Don't stop. There's no need to stop. That's the whole point of a roundabout. It's not a stop junction. Of course, you've got to stop if there's traffic on it, but if there's not, flow through it. I see so many people that just got no idea at roundabouts. Nothing. Quite fancy an ice cream. I don't know why, I've just said that. I haven't seen an ice cream anywhere, it's just given me an ice cream feeling. Well, I suppose it's 27 degrees now and I'm in a full set of leathers. Might be why ice cream seems appealing. Look at all these people in their cars. Oh, that's nice. Oh, was that an RS Turbo? Escort RS Turbo. Wow, that is cool. That's very, very cool. That's what this good weather brings out. It brings out people's pride and joys, people's collector cars, special machinery, motorbikes as well, obviously. As I was saying earlier on, when I'm on the bike, I tend to be more me. And I think the reason for that is my knowledge of bikes and riding is fairly limited, so I kind of run out of things to say about the bike apart from whee and woo and yes, this is fun. That's about the extent of it at the moment. But I think there's a real special feeling that you get when you're on a motorbike, very similar to when you're on a mountain bike or a road bicycle. You have this freedom, it's not even a sense of freedom, it is freedom. And you have time to think. I don't know if it's because, although my senses are on fire and I'm looking out for things much more so than I would be in a car, I'm also in a much more calm state of mind. I feel very chilled and relaxed on the bike, and that gives me time to think about other stuff. Something I talk about a lot on my Instagram page, which I know a lot of you aren't on or maybe don't have Instagram, is mental health. I've had a real struggle, not recently, in fact the past 3 or 4 weeks have been very good, but let's say April and a lot of May were a big struggle for me. And the problem with, let's say, depression, which I have suffered from for over 20 years now, on and off. On the whole, I've actually, thankfully, been okay, but I'll go through periods of feeling really low. And when that happens, it doesn't matter what is going on in life. It doesn't matter if you'd won the lottery or, you know, life during those months that I was feeling down. I mean, I was having an amazing life from the bystander, if you like. I was travelling loads, I was driving loads of cool cars. Lou and I had brought a house together. I'm very much in love and happy in my relationship with Lou. You know, I picked up my M3 Touring. Okay, this was before my M2 went pop. So I had no reason to be down. And that's one of the challenges of depression or mental health, is sometimes you can't understand why. And when you're younger and you get depressed for the first time, that's something that's really difficult. That's a big part of depression, I think, is the struggle of trying to understand why you're depressed when you think logically you shouldn't be, because, I don't know, your job might be good, your family are all healthy and everything's going well, but yet you're struggling in your mind. And anyway, so yeah, this is great for that side of things, because you're out and about and you feel like you're escaping everything. It's just lovely. And I think the further out and about you get, the more escapism you're going to feel. I would really love to take this bike to the Alps. From what I understand, I might be limited in terms of mileage and might not be able to do that trip. But I'm hoping I can, because I really think going down an Alps pass in the evening after all the sort of tourists etc. had left. I really think that would be a hard thing to better in terms of feeling like you've escaped, feeling some freedom. Here we go. So these guys, great, look at that, go. There's nothing there now, so I can look forward and go, because in that time, unless it was Sebastian Loeb coming in a rally car sideways, there is no way that anything could arrive and get in my way in that split half a second. And if something did suddenly appear just as I was pulling out, I would already be gone, so there is no danger there. Looking out for parked cars, doors, etc. Staying in the middle of the road, staying a door width away, because obviously you can't see in every car. And I can imagine, just like on a bicycle, if a door, another GS owner over there, very cool. If a door opens on you, yeah, it wouldn't be pleasant, would it? Although I think if that's going to happen, then being on a GS is about as good as a bike it could happen to. I don't want to jinx myself. What am I doing? Shh. Sometimes I just talk for the sake of talking and stitch myself up. I can see an Aston Martin DBX down there. I'm pretty sure I can see its panel gaps too. Something else you got to watch out for when it gets really hot, but I don't think 26, 27 is hot enough, is see how the tarmac has gone a bit shiny where the tyres go. When you're in Spain or Italy during sort of July and August, the tarmac sometimes gets so hot that it literally just starts melting, and that can be slippery in a car. So on a bike, I can only imagine. But as I say, I think that's sort of mid-30s and upwards. Certainly not along a road like this, where it has a mixture of shade, etc. as well. Going to be pretty safe. Not far now. We're a couple of miles out of Aylesbury. We're on the wrong side of Aylesbury though. I live essentially to the north of Aylesbury, and Swift is essentially on the south. So Stoke Mandeville, they're right near Stoke Mandeville Hospital. Used to have one of my best friends, mountain bike friends. His parents were much younger. His parents lived in Stoke Mandeville. Mr. Rossell, if you're listening or watching, hope you're well, mate. He was handy on a mountain bike. He was handy everywhere, actually, Ross. And he was handy on a motorbike. He did a bit of motorbike racing. Yeah, Ross was one of those annoying people that were just kind of good at everything. I say annoying in a nice way. He is a lovely bloke. Seen him fairly recently, and yeah, top guy, absolute top guy. Him and his brother Louis and his parents, just a nice family, lovely family package. Yeah, he was a prime example of lovely parents, lovely kids. Here we go, we get a better glimpse of the panel gaps here. Hopefully you can see, look at that on the right, massive panel gap. On the left, much smaller panel gap. I mean, what's that, 200 grand car, 200 grand plus? It's the firemen and women, I'm sure. Very cool. A lot of respect for firemen. Good friend of mine is one, and he's a hero, absolute hero. Jordan, if you're watching and listening, this is a shout out for you, mate. Hopefully we'll be able to tell our story one day. Jordan was actually also a motorcyclist. and done some track day stuff on a motorbike. So yeah, see, we're going to nip in there because it was less dangerous for me to nip in and get around the roundabout than it was to stop last minute with cars behind me. It's all about measuring the risk and not being stupid. You can't blame people for having EVs if it's a cost-saving measure. I mean, if I still live where I used to live, near central London on the outskirts, and if I still commuted and worked in London like I used to, I would most certainly have an EV as my London car, you know, something small, maybe not an ID3 because I don't think I could put up with the infotainment system, but probably something like a mini electric. I know the range isn't great, but be good enough for those journeys. Yeah, you're going to come across. Of course you are. Brilliant bit of driving there. Excellent. We're almost at Swift. Woohoo! Let's hope this camera is still rolling. It's been a relatively long journey, hasn't it? Oh, nearly 6:45. Yikes. I said to Russ I'd be there at 6:15. I've always been a late person. I'm not the guy that gets up and gets on a plane first. Although these days, if you are flying economy or even business, sometimes does make it a bit easier if you are quite early. I'm not a fan of flying at the moment. I used to love it, but I think it's just when you do too much of it, it does wear off quite quickly. Or when flights get cancelled, then it wears off very quickly. So the last flight I was meant to be on was a flight from London to Nice to go to Monaco to watch the Formula E with Cupra UK. Now, I've been to a couple of Formula E races over the years, and although they can be a good spectacle, I wouldn't say I'm massively into Formula E. But when someone invites you to Monaco for a Formula E race, well, kind of has that extra buzz about it, doesn't it? But that buzz was cut short at 4 in the morning when I got to Heathrow, and BA proudly told us that the flight was cancelled, amongst another flight to Barcelona and another one to somewhere in Italy. I mean, it just seems normal now, BA cancelling flights last minute. It's not right. Oh, we're in a 40. Oh, apologies, car. I thought that was a 30. Ah, we're now approaching a 30. That makes a lot of sense. Well, we are almost at Swift Performance. Literally just around this corner. And just before those people walking along. Bit of a concealed entrance, I'd say, this one. It's a bit of a, yeah, if you've not been in it before, we'll go this way, which is the main way, because anyone that hasn't been to the new Swift Performance premises, well, they'll be interested. So back there was Royal Steering Wheels. We've got XL Dents here, who are great. They took a nice ding out of my M3. So that was the old Swift Performance over there. We can go around to the new one. You couldn't do this in a car, but you could do it in a motorbike. There's Russ's lovely E46. Say hi to the camera. If it's still running, no idea. Yeah, man. You? Yeah, just wondering if you do engine rebuilds for motorbikes. Not even M2s. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, yeah, no worries. Right, I'm going to switch the cameras off and get out of this sweaty gear. I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know in the comments below if you did. And another update on the M2 that's sitting up there will be coming very soon. So take it easy, ride safe if you're on a motorbike or a bicycle, and I'll see you at another one very soon. Bye bye.